I had typed and deleted the message 17 times before finally hitting send. My heart pounded as I watched the three dots appear, showing that Braden was typing back. This was it, the moment that would either make me the happiest person alive or completely destroy me. The text I sent was bold, honest, and maybe a little bit desperate. But when Braden showed up at my door an hour later, I knew I had made the right choice. Tyler's fingers shook as he stared at his phone screen. The text was already sent. There was no taking it back now. I've been watching you for 3 months, Braden. I know you probably don't even know my name, but I can't stop thinking about you. I want to kiss every inch of your body. I want to feel your hands on me. I want you to make me yours tonight. Tyler threw his phone across his dorm room bed and buried his face in his pillow. What had he done? Braden Mitchell was the most popular guy at Crestwood College. Everyone knew him. The star of the basketball team, the guy who walked through campus like he owned every building, the alpha everyone whispered about in the cafeteria. And Tyler? Tyler was nobody, just a sophomore who sat in the back of his biology class and tried not to stare at Braden too obviously. But tonight, after 3 energy drinks and a terrible day of failed exams, something inside Tyler had snapped. He had typed out the text before his brain could stop his heart. Now, sitting alone in his tiny dorm room at 11 p.m., Tyler wanted to disappear. His phone buzzed. Tyler's heart stopped. He crawled across his bed and grabbed the phone with trembling hands. The message was from an unknown number, but Tyler knew exactly who it was. Room 314, right? I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't change your mind. Tyler couldn't breathe. He jumped off his bed and looked around his messy room. Clothes everywhere, textbooks scattered across his desk, an empty pizza box on the floor. He had 10 minutes, maybe 9 now. He grabbed the pizza box and shoved it under his bed, kicked his dirty laundry into the closet, and sprayed air freshener until the room smelled like fake flowers. His roommate, Chris, was gone for the weekend. Thank goodness for small miracles. 7 minutes later, someone knocked on the door. Tyler froze. His reflection in the mirror above his desk showed a scared boy with messy brown hair and wide green eyes. He looked like a child, not someone who had just sent the boldest text message of his life. But it was too late to hide now. He opened the door. Braden Mitchell stood in the hallway, wearing a black hoodie and gray sweatpants. His dark hair was slightly wet, like he had just showered. His brown eyes locked onto Tyler with an intensity that made Tyler's knees weak. Braden was tall, maybe 6'2", with broad shoulders and the kind of face that made people stop and stare. But right now, those eyes were looking at Tyler like he was the only person in the world. "You're Tyler," Braden said. It wasn't a question. "How did you know my name?" Tyler whispered. "Because I've been watching you too." Braden stepped inside the room and closed the door behind him. "Did you mean what you said in that text?" Tyler's mouth went dry. Yes. Good." Braden moved closer, backing Tyler against the wall beside his desk. "Because I've wanted to do this since the first day I saw you in Professor Kim's biology class." Before Tyler could respond, Braden's lips crashed against his. The kiss was hungry and desperate, like Braden had been holding back for months and couldn't wait another second. Tyler gasped, and Braden took the opportunity to deepen the kiss, his tongue sliding against Tyler's in a way that made Tyler's entire body catch fire. Braden's hands gripped Tyler's waist, pulling him closer until there was no space between them. Tyler had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but nothing compared to the reality. Braden tasted like mint toothpaste and something else, something wild and intoxicating. His hands were warm and strong, sliding under Tyler's shirt to touch bare skin. Tyler moaned into the kiss, and Braden groaned in response, pressing him harder against the wall. "I need you," Braden whispered against Tyler's lips. "Right now?" "Yes," Tyler breathed. "Please." Braden lifted Tyler easily, and Tyler wrapped his legs around Braden's waist. They stumbled toward the bed, kissing frantically, pulling at each other's clothes. Tyler's shirt came off first, then Braden's hoodie. Their skin touched, hot and electric. Braden laid Tyler down on the narrow dorm bed and hovered over him, his eyes dark with want. "Tell me if you want me to stop," Braden said, his voice rough. "Don't stop," Tyler said. "Don't ever stop." What happened next was a blur of sensation. Braden's lips traveled down Tyler's neck, across his chest, lower and lower. Tyler's hands tangled in Braden's hair, his back arching off the bed. Every touch felt like lightning. When Braden finally removed the last barriers between them, Tyler thought he might die from the intensity of it all. They moved together like they had done this 100 times before, finding a perfect rhythm that made Tyler see stars. Hours passed. They explored each other slowly, learning what made the other gasp and shiver. Braden whispered things in Tyler's ear that made him blush and want more at the same time. Tyler discovered that Braden had a birthmark on his left shoulder blade and that he made the most incredible sounds when Tyler kissed his neck just right. They fell asleep tangled together, naked and exhausted, as the sun began to rise outside the window. When Tyler woke up, Braden was already awake, watching him with a soft smile. "Good morning," Braden said, brushing a strand of hair from Tyler's forehead. "Did that really happen?" Tyler asked, his voice still sleepy. "It really happened." Braden kissed him gently. "And I want it to happen again. And again. I want everyone to know you're mine now." Tyler's heart soared. "Really? Really?" Braden pulled Tyler closer. "I've noticed you since the first week of classes. The way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. The way you always sit in the same seat. The way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. I wanted to talk to you for months, but I didn't know how. Then you sent that text, and I thought, finally. I can't believe you noticed me," Tyler said, touching Braden's face. "How could I not?" Braden kissed him again. "You're beautiful." They stayed in bed for another hour, talking and kissing, until Braden's phone started buzzing nonstop. He checked it and laughed. "What?" Tyler asked. "My entire team is blowing up my phone. Apparently, someone saw me come into your dorm last night, and now the whole basketball team knows." Braden showed Tyler the messages. They were full of questions, jokes, and congratulations. Tyler's face went pale. "The whole team knows?" "Don't worry," Braden said, squeezing his hand. "I'm not hiding this. I'm not hiding you. Let them talk." But by the time Tyler left his dorm room that afternoon to grab lunch, he realized it wasn't just the basketball team that knew. Everyone knew. People stared at him in the hallway. Girls whispered and giggled as he passed. Guys gave him looks that ranged from curious to jealous. When Tyler walked into the cafeteria, the entire room seemed to go quiet for a moment. Braden was already there, sitting with his teammates. When he saw Tyler, he stood up and walked over, ignoring everyone else. "Sit with me," Braden said, taking Tyler's hand in front of everyone. Tyler's face burned red, but he nodded. They walked to Braden's table together, hand in hand, while the entire cafeteria watched. Braden's teammates whistled and made jokes, but they were friendly about it. Braden sat down and pulled Tyler onto the bench beside him, keeping their hands linked on top of the table where everyone could see. "This is Tyler," Braden announced to his friends. "And he's with me now, so everyone better be cool about it." His teammates nodded and introduced themselves. Tyler felt overwhelmed but happy. Braden kept touching him casually throughout lunch, a hand on his knee, an arm around his shoulders. Every touch felt like a claim, a statement to everyone watching. By the end of the day, Tyler's phone was full of messages from people he barely knew. Some were congratulating him. Others were asking questions. A few were mean, but Braden told him to ignore those. What mattered was that they were together now, and everyone knew it. That night, Braden came back to Tyler's room. They ordered takeout and watched movies on Tyler's laptop, curled up together in the small bed. Between kisses, Braden told Tyler about his life, his dreams of playing professional basketball, his complicated relationship with his wealthy family. Tyler shared his own stories, his love of books, his fear of never being good enough, his loneliness before meeting Braden. "You're more than good enough," Braden said, kissing Tyler's forehead. "You're everything." For 2 perfect weeks, Tyler felt like he was living in a dream. Braden walked him to classes, took him on dates off campus, introduced him to everyone as his boyfriend. They spent every night together, learning each other's bodies and hearts. Tyler had never been so happy. He stopped caring about the stares and whispers. All that mattered was Braden. But on a Tuesday morning, everything changed. Tyler was leaving his biology class when he saw Braden standing in the hallway, talking to someone Tyler didn't recognize. The guy was tall and handsome, with perfect blonde hair and an expensive leather jacket. He was standing way too close to Braden, touching his arm while they talked. Braden looked uncomfortable, but he wasn't pulling away. Tyler felt something twist in his chest. He walked over quickly. "Hey," Tyler said, reaching for Braden's hand. Braden took it immediately, but the blonde guy looked at Tyler with cold blue eyes. "So this is the new boyfriend," the guy said, his voice dripping with fake sweetness. "I'm Darius, Braden's ex." Tyler's blood turned to ice. Darius smiled, but it was the kind of smile that made Tyler want to run. There was something dangerous behind those perfect white teeth, something cruel in those blue eyes. Darius looked like he belonged in a magazine, wearing clothes that probably cost more than Tyler's entire wardrobe. He carried himself like someone who had never been told no in his entire life. "Tyler, right?" Darius said, looking him up and down slowly. "Braden told me all about you back when we were texting last week." Tyler's stomach dropped. "Last week?" "Darius," Braden said sharply, his jaw tight. "Stop it." "Stop what?" Darius asked innocently. "I'm just being friendly. After all, we're going to see a lot of each other now that I'm back at Crestwood. I transferred back this semester." "Isn't that great?" Tyler looked at Braden. "You've been texting him?" "He texted me once," Braden said firmly. "I didn't respond." "That's not quite true," Darius said, pulling out his phone. "Want to see the messages?" "Darius, I swear to God." Braden started, but Darius just laughed and walked away down the hallway, his expensive shoes clicking on the floor. Tyler pulled his hand away from Braden's. "Were you going to tell me your ex was coming back?" "I didn't know he was transferring back," Braden said. "He texted me 2 days ago, saying he was in town, and I told him I was with someone now. That's it. I promise." Tyler wanted to believe him. Braden's eyes looked honest, desperate even. But something about the way Darius had smiled made Tyler feel sick. He nodded slowly, even though doubt was already creeping into his mind like poison. "Okay," Tyler said quietly. "I believe you." Braden pulled him into a hug right there in the hallway. "Thank you. I love you, Tyler. Don't forget that." Those were the first time Braden had said those words. Tyler's heart should have soared, but instead, he just felt scared. Over the next few days, Darius was everywhere. He showed up at the cafeteria when Tyler and Braden were eating lunch. He joined Braden's study group in the library. He even started coming to basketball practice, sitting in the stands and watching. Every time Tyler saw him, Darius would wave and smile like they were old friends. But when Braden wasn't looking, Darius's smile would turn into something else. Something mean. On Thursday, Tyler was walking back to his dorm alone when Darius appeared beside him. "Hey, Tyler," Darius said casually. "Mind if I walk with you?" Tyler did mind, but he didn't know how to say no. "I guess." They walked in silence for a moment before Darius spoke again. "You seem like a nice guy. That's why I feel bad for you." "What are you talking about?" Tyler asked, his hands clenching into fists in his jacket pockets. "Braden," Darius said simply. "He does this, finds some sweet, innocent guy and makes him fall in love with him. He's really good at it. He made me fall in love with him too. Told me I was everything he ever wanted. We were together for almost a year." Tyler kept walking, trying to ignore the way his heart was starting to race. "Then one day, I found out he was cheating on me," Darius continued, "with some girl from his economics class. He swore it was nothing, that it was a mistake, but once a cheater, always a cheater, right?" "I don't want to hear this," Tyler said, walking faster. "I'm just trying to help you," Darius called after him, "before you get hurt like I did." Tyler practically ran the rest of the way to his dorm. He slammed the door shut and leaned against it, breathing hard. Was Darius telling the truth? Had Braden really cheated on him? Tyler grabbed his phone and almost called Braden, but then he stopped. What if asking about it made Braden angry? What if it made him realize Tyler didn't trust him? Tyler decided to wait and see, but the doubt was already growing. That weekend, there was a huge party at one of the campus fraternities. Braden had asked Tyler to go with him, and Tyler had agreed, even though parties weren't really his thing. He wanted to be with Braden, to show everyone they were still together and happy. The party was loud and crowded. Music pounded from speakers, and people were everywhere, drinking and dancing. Braden held Tyler's hand as they moved through the crowd, introducing him to people Tyler would never remember. Everything was fine until Tyler went to get them drinks from the kitchen. When he came back, Braden was gone. Tyler searched the main room, then the backyard, his heart starting to pound. Finally, he checked the upstairs hallway. That's where he found them, Braden and Darius, standing close together near a closed bedroom door. Darius was talking, his hand on Braden's chest. Braden looked upset, but he wasn't pushing Darius away. As Tyler watched, frozen at the top of the stairs, Darius leaned in and whispered something in Braden's ear. Braden shook his head, but Darius just smiled and touched his face. Tyler dropped both drinks. The plastic cups hit the floor with a splash, red liquid spreading across the carpet. Both Braden and Darius turned to look at him. "Tyler," Braden said, his eyes going wide. "This isn't what it looks like." But Tyler was already running down the stairs. He heard Braden calling his name, heard footsteps chasing him, but Tyler was faster. He ran out of the fraternity house and didn't stop until he was back in his dorm room, gasping for air. His phone started ringing immediately. Braden's name lit up the screen. Tyler stared at it, tears running down his face. He let it ring until it went to voicemail. Then it rang again, and again. Finally, a text came through. "Please let me explain. Darius cornered me. He was trying to cause problems. Nothing happened. I love you. Please talk to me." Tyler threw his phone across the room. His chest hurt so badly he thought he might be dying. How could Braden do this to him? After everything they had shared, after all those promises. Tyler had given Braden everything, his body, his heart, his trust. And now, just 2 weeks later, Braden was with his ex at a party, letting Darius touch him. Tyler curled up on his bed and cried until there were no tears left. Then he picked up his phone and typed out a message. "We're done. Don't contact me again." He hit send before he could change his mind. Then he turned off his phone and buried his face in his pillow. I know you're already wondering that his text started it, and now his text ended it. You would want to hit that subscribe button because I promise that you aren't ready for the next roller coaster of emotions and revelations that are coming up. Don't forget to grab your popcorn. For the next 3 days, Tyler avoided everyone. He skipped classes, ignored his roommates' concerned questions, and lived on vending machine snacks. He knew he was being dramatic, but he didn't care. His heart was shattered into a million pieces, and he didn't know how to put it back together. On the 4th day, someone knocked on his door. Tyler thought it was Chris and yelled, "Go away." "Tyler, it's me." Braden's voice made Tyler's heart clench. He stayed quiet, hoping Braden would leave. "I know you're in there," Braden said through the door. "Please, just let me explain what happened. Darius is lying to you. He's been lying this whole time. I never cheated on him. I never cheated on anyone. That night at the party, he cornered me and started making things up, saying if I didn't get back together with him, he would spread rumors about you. I was trying to get him to leave you alone." Tyler sat on his bed, listening. Part of him wanted to believe Braden so badly it hurt. But another part, the part that Darius had poisoned with doubt, whispered that Braden was just a good liar. "I love you," Braden said, his voice breaking. "Please don't give up on us." But Tyler didn't open the door. After a long silence, he heard Braden's footsteps walking away. Tyler lay back down and stared at the ceiling, feeling emptier than ever. He had done the right thing, hadn't he? Protecting his heart before Braden could break it completely? So why did it feel like he had just made the biggest mistake of his life? Over the next week, Tyler saw Braden around campus. Braden always looked terrible, with dark circles under his eyes and messy hair. He tried to approach Tyler twice, but Tyler walked away both times. It was easier than listening, easier than risking his heart again. Then, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, Tyler saw something that made his blood boil. Braden was in the campus coffee shop, sitting at a table with Darius. They weren't touching, but they were talking, and Braden looked miserable. Darius, on the other hand, looked triumphant. Tyler left before they could see him. So Braden had moved on already. Back to his ex, just like Tyler had feared. The pain was so intense Tyler thought he might throw up. He went back to his dorm and didn't leave for the rest of the day. What Tyler didn't know was that Darius had cornered Braden at the coffee shop, demanding they talk. What Tyler didn't see was Braden telling Darius to leave him alone, that he only wanted Tyler. What Tyler couldn't hear was Braden saying that losing Tyler was the worst thing that had ever happened to him. But Tyler didn't know any of that. All he knew was that his heart was broken, and the person who broke it was sitting in a coffee shop with the ex who had warned him this would happen. Tyler decided he needed to forget about Braden Mitchell. He needed to move on and protect what was left of his heart, even if it killed him to do it. A month crawled by like a year. Tyler threw himself into his studies, spending every free moment in the library or his dorm room. He stopped going to parties, stopped hanging out with the few friends he had made, stopped living. His roommate Chris worried about him, but Tyler insisted he was fine. He wasn't fine. He was a ghost walking through his own life, hollow and aching. Braden seemed to be doing the same thing. Tyler saw him sometimes across the quad or in the cafeteria, always alone now, no longer surrounded by his usual crowd. Braden had lost weight, his basketball jersey hanging looser on his frame. Their eyes met once across the library, and the pain Tyler saw there almost made him cross the room. Almost. But then he remembered Darius, remembered the lies, remembered the hurt, and he looked away. Darius, meanwhile, seemed to be everywhere, always watching Tyler with that same cruel smile. He never approached anymore, didn't need to. He had already won. Then, on a Friday afternoon, Tyler got a call from his older brother Mason. They hadn't talked in months, not since Mason had graduated from a different college and moved across the state for work. "Hey, little brother." Mason's voice came through warm and familiar. "I'm actually in town for a business meeting. Want to grab dinner?" Tyler almost said no. He was a good company these days, but something in him craved the comfort of family, so he agreed. They met at a small restaurant off campus, the kind of place with red checkered tablecloths and pictures of Italy on the walls. Mason looked good, wearing a suit and tie, his brown hair styled professionally. He looked like a successful adult, which made Tyler feel even more like a mess. "So," Mason said after they ordered, studying Tyler's face, "you look terrible. What happened?" Tyler tried to lie, to say everything was fine, but the words stuck in his throat. Instead, to his horror, tears started falling. Right there in the restaurant, Tyler broke down and told Mason everything. The text message, Braden, the perfect 2 weeks, Darius returning, the party, the breakup. All of it came pouring out like poison from a wound. Mason listened without interrupting, his face growing darker as Tyler talked. When Tyler finally finished, Mason was quiet for a long moment. "Tyler," Mason said carefully. "What was the ex's name again?" "Darius," Tyler said, wiping his eyes with a napkin. "Darius something. I don't know his last name." Mason's face went pale. "Describe him." Tyler did, confused by Mason's reaction. Blonde hair, blue eyes, expensive clothes, cruel smile. With every detail, Mason's expression grew more grim. "Darius Hartley?" Mason asked. "Maybe? I don't know." "Why?" Mason leaned back in his chair and ran a hand through his hair. "Because I dated Darius Hartley 3 years ago, before you started college." Tyler's mouth fell open. "What?" "We met at a party when I was a senior," Mason said, his voice tight with old anger. "He was charming, beautiful, said all the right things. We dated for 6 months. It was intense and amazing, or so I thought. Then things started going wrong. He would accuse me of cheating when I talked to other guys. He would show up places I didn't tell him about, like he was following me. He became controlling, jealous, manipulative." Tyler felt cold. "What happened?" "I finally got the courage to break up with him," Mason continued. "And that's when things got really bad. He started spreading lies about me to all my friends. Told people I had cheated on him with multiple guys, that I had given him an infection, that I was abusive. None of it was true, but people believed him because he was so convincing. He almost destroyed my last semester of college." "Oh my God," Tyler whispered. "The worst part." Mason's eyes were hard. "I found out later that he had done the same thing to 2 other guys before me. It's a pattern. He finds someone, love bombs them. Then when things end, he destroys their reputation. And if the guy moves on to someone else, Darius comes back and destroys that relationship too." Tyler felt sick. "He told me Braden cheated on him. I would bet everything I own that's a lie," Mason said firmly. "Darius probably cheated on Braden, or Braden finally saw through his act and left. Either way, Darius can't stand seeing someone he used to control be happy with someone else. So he came back to ruin it. But I saw them together," Tyler said weakly, "at the party. And At the coffee shop. Did you see them kissing? Holding hands? Or did you see Darius manipulating the situation to look bad? Mason asked. Tyler, guys like Darius are experts at this. They know exactly how to plan doubt, how to create situations that look suspicious. It's what they do. Tyler put his head in his hands. I've been so stupid. You're not stupid, Mason said gently. You're young, and you got played by someone who has years of practice manipulating people. But Tyler, if this Braden guy is really a good person, and if he really loves you, you might have just thrown away something real because of Darius's lies. What do I do? Tyler asked, his voice small. You figure out the truth, Mason said. Talk to Braden. Actually listen this time. And if Darius really is the same person who tortured me, you warn everyone about him. They finished dinner mostly in silence, Tyler's mind spinning. After Mason left, Tyler walked back to campus slowly, trying to process everything. Had he really let Darius destroy his relationship with Braden? Had he been so quick to doubt, so ready to believe the worst, that he pushed away the best thing that ever happened to him? Tyler pulled out his phone and stared at Braden's contact. His finger hovered over the call button, but he couldn't make himself press it. What'd he even say? Sorry I didn't trust you? Sorry I threw away what we had because I was scared? Before he could decide, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. When Tyler opened it, his blood turned to ice. Heard you had dinner with your brother. Mason, right? Funny, we used to date. Did he tell you about me? About how he cheated and lied? I'm sure he made me sound like the villain. Just like Braden probably did. You should know that everyone you love is a liar, Tyler. Sweet dreams. Tyler stared at the message, his hands shaking. Darius had been watching him, following him. The thought made his skin crawl. He screenshot the message and then blocked the number, but the damage was done. Darius wanted him to know that he was always there, always watching, always in control. Tyler was about to head back to his dorm when he saw a crowd gathered near the main administration building. Students were clustered around something, their phones out, talking excitedly. Tyler pushed through the crowd to see what was happening. Someone had posted flyers all over the building. Big, printed flyers with a photo of Braden and bold text that read, Braden Mitchell is a cheater and a liar. Ask his ex-boyfriend. Tyler ripped down the nearest flyer, his heart pounding. Around him, students were taking photos, laughing, gossiping. This was exactly what Darius wanted. Public humiliation. Total destruction. Tyler, a familiar voice said behind him. Tyler turned to find one of Braden's teammates, a guy named Scott. Scott looked uncomfortable, shifting from foot to foot. Is it true? Scott asked. Did Braden really cheat on his ex? No, Tyler said firmly, surprised by the certainty in his own voice. It's not true. Darius is lying. How do you know? Scott asked. Because I know Braden, Tyler said, and realized as he said it that it was true. He didn't know Braden. Knew his heart, his honesty, his loyalty. And I know liars when I see them. Tyler spent the next hour tearing down every flyer he could find, his anger growing with each one. By the time he was done, his hands were covered in paper cuts, and his heart was full of determination. He pulled out his phone and finally, pressed call on Braden's contact. It rang once, twice, 3 times, then voicemail. Braden, Tyler said after the beep, his voice shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. I should have listened. Mason told me about Darius, about what he does to people. I believe you now. I believe you've always been telling the truth. Please call me back. Please give me another chance. I love you too. I should have said it before, but I was scared. I'm not scared anymore. Just please call me back. He hung up and waited. His phone stayed silent. Tyler tried calling again. Voicemail. He sent a text. No response. Panic started to build in his chest. Where was Braden? Why wasn't he answering? Tyler ran across campus to the athletic building where the basketball team practiced. The gym was empty, the lights off. He checked the locker room. Nothing. He asked other students if they had seen Braden. No one had. Finally, Tyler ran to Braden's dorm building. He had only been there once, that first magical night, but he remembered the room number. For 12. He took the stairs 2 at a time and pounded on the door. No answer. Braden, Tyler yelled, not caring who heard him. Please, if you're in there, open the door. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The door next to Braden's opened, and a girl poked her head out. He's not here, she said. He left a few hours ago with a suitcase. Looked pretty upset. Tyler's world tilted. Do you know where he went? She shook her head. Sorry. Tyler stumbled back down the stairs, his mind racing. Braden was gone. He had left campus, probably gone home, and Tyler had no way to reach him. But then Tyler remembered something Braden had mentioned once during one of their late-night conversations. His family lived 2 hours away in a big house on Maple Ridge. His father was some kind of business executive. His mother was on the board of 3 different charities. Tyler pulled out his phone and searched. It took some digging, but he finally found it. Mitchell Industries, owned by Richard Mitchell. And there, in the company bio, was a mention of Richard's son Braden, star athlete at Crestwood College. The company address was listed. Tyler screenshot it and then did something crazy. He ordered a ride share, using the last of his monthly allowance, and gave the driver the address. An hour and 40 minutes later, the car pulled up to a massive iron gate with a security box. Beyond it, Tyler could see a house that looked more like a mansion. White pillars, perfectly manicured lawn, 3 stories tall. This was where Braden grew up? Tyler got out of the car and approached the security box. There was a buzzer and a camera. He pressed the buzzer. Yes, a woman's voice answered. Hi, Tyler said nervously. I'm looking for Braden Mitchell. I'm a friend from college. Master Braden is not receiving visitors, the voice said coldly. Please, Tyler said desperately. I really need to talk to him. It's important. I'm sorry, but no. The line went dead. Tyler stood outside the gate, feeling helpless. He tried to buzzer again. No answer. He called Braden's phone. Voicemail. He was about to give up when he saw someone walking down the long driveway from the house. As the figure got closer, Tyler's heart leaped. Braden. Braden looked worse than Tyler had ever seen him. His eyes were red and swollen, his face pale. He was wearing sweatpants and a wrinkled t-shirt, so different from his usual confident appearance. When Braden saw Tyler standing outside the gate, he stopped walking. They stared at each other through the iron bars like prisoners, separated by metal and misunderstanding. Tyler. Braden's voice was hoarse. What are you doing here? I came to apologize, Tyler said, and to tell you that I believe you. About Darius, about everything. I'm sorry I didn't trust you before. Braden looked away, wiping his eyes. It doesn't matter anymore. What do you mean? My father found out about the flyers, Braden said bitterly. About the rumors Darius is spreading. He's furious. Says I'm embarrassing the family name. He gave me an ultimatum. Either I stop this whole thing with you and date someone he approves of, someone from a respectable family, or he cuts me off completely. No more college tuition, no more allowance, no more trust fund. Nothing. Tyler felt like he had been punched in the stomach. What did you tell him? I told him I needed time to think, Braden said, his voice breaking. Tyler, I don't care about the money. I swear I don't. But my entire life is tied up in my family. My education, my future, my basketball career. If he cuts me off, I lose everything. And for what? For a relationship that you didn't even believe in enough to trust me. The words hit Tyler like bullets. I know I messed up, Tyler said, tears starting to fall. I know I should have trusted you. But Braden, we can figure this out. Together. Ow, Braden asked, his face twisted with pain. My father has already picked out the guy he wants me to date. Fletcher Ashton. His father owns half the real estate in this state. They're already planning dinners, public appearances, the whole thing. And you know what the worst part is? I'm actually considering it. Because I'm tired, Tyler. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of hurting. And I'm tired of loving someone who doesn't love me back enough to trust me. I do love you, Tyler said desperately. I love you more than anything. Then where were you when I needed you? Braden asked. Where were you when Darius was spreading lies? Where were you when those flyers went up? You were hiding, Tyler. Protecting yourself. Just like you did at that party when you ran away instead of letting me explain. I know, Tyler sobbed. I know I was wrong. Please, Braden, don't do this. But Braden was already turning away, walking back toward his house. His shoulders were shaking. Tyler could tell he was crying too. Braden, Tyler yelled. Please. Braden stopped, but didn't turn around. I have to go, Tyler. I have dinner with the Ashtons tonight. My father insists. Then he was gone, disappearing into the massive house, leaving Tyler standing alone outside the gate as the sun began to set. Tyler sank to the ground, his back against the cold, iron bars, and cried harder than he ever had in his life. He had found Braden, had finally come to his senses, and it was too late. He had lost him, not to Darius's lies, but to his own fear and doubt. Tyler sat outside the gate until it was fully dark, until the security lights came on, until his phone died from the cold. Then he called another rideshare and went back to campus, numb and empty. When he got back to his dorm, Chris was there, looking worried. "Dude, where have you been?" Chris asked. "I've been texting you for hours." Tyler just shook his head and collapsed on his bed. He didn't sleep that night. He stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment with Braden, every mistake he had made. By morning, Tyler had made a decision. If he couldn't have Braden back, he could at least clear Braden's name. He could expose Darius for the liar he was. Tyler spent Saturday morning gathering evidence. He called Mason and asked him to send screenshots of Darius's old messages, proof of his harassment. Mason also put Tyler in touch with the two other guys Darius had targeted before him. They shared their stories, their evidence, their pain. By noon, Tyler had built a case. On Sunday, Tyler did something bold. He went to the campus cafeteria at peak lunchtime, when he knew it would be packed with students. He found an empty table in the center of the room, stood on top of it, and shouted, "Everyone listen up." The cafeteria slowly went quiet, hundreds of eyes turning to stare at him. Tyler's heart pounded, but he didn't let himself back down. "My name is Tyler Reed," he said loudly, "and I have something to say about Darius Hartley." Tyler saw Darius across the room, sitting with a group of students. Darius's face went pale, then red with anger. He stood up, but Tyler kept talking. "For the past month, Darius has been spreading lies about Braden Mitchell," Tyler continued. "Lies that Braden is a cheater, that he's a liar, that he can't be trusted. But the truth is, Darius is the liar. He's been doing this for years, targeting guys who reject him or move on, destroying their reputations because he can't handle not being in control." "Shut up," Darius yelled. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I have proof," Tyler said, holding up his phone. "Messages from my brother, who Darius dated and harassed 3 years ago. Messages from 2 other guys he did the same thing to. Messages Darius sent me, threatening me, following me. I have everything, and I'm sharing it all with campus security right after this." The cafeteria exploded with noise. Students were pulling out their phones, recording, taking photos. Darius tried to push through the crowd toward Tyler, but several people blocked his way. "You have no idea what you've done," Darius snarled at Tyler. "Yes, I do," Tyler said calmly, climbing down from the table. "I've told the truth." Finally, Tyler walked out of the cafeteria with his head held high, even though his legs were shaking. Behind him, he could hear the chaos, students arguing, Darius yelling. But Tyler didn't look back. He went straight to campus security and handed over all his evidence. They took it seriously, especially when Tyler mentioned Darius had been harassing multiple students over several years. By Monday morning, the whole school knew the truth. Darius was called into a meeting with the dean. The flyers about Braden were officially investigated and traced back to Darius's laptop. He was suspended pending a full disciplinary hearing. And just like that, Darius Hartley's reign of terror was over. But Tyler didn't feel victorious. He felt empty, because Braden still wasn't answering his calls or texts. Tyler had cleared Braden's name, had exposed Darius, had done everything right. But it was too late. On Tuesday afternoon, Tyler was in his dorm room packing up his textbooks when Chris burst through the door. "Tyler," Chris said breathlessly, "you need to come with me right now." "Why?" Tyler asked tiredly. "Just trust me." Chris dragged Tyler out of the dorm and across campus. They went to the building where Tyler's biology class was held, the class where he had first seen Braden. Chris pushed Tyler into the empty classroom. "What are we doing here?" Tyler asked. Then he saw him. Braden was standing at the front of the room, next to the exact desk where Tyler used to sit. Braden looked different. He was wearing a nice button-up shirt and jeans, his hair was styled, and there were flowers in his hands. Red roses, at least a dozen. Tyler, Braden said softly. Braden, Tyler could barely breathe. What are you doing here? I heard what you did, Braden said, walking toward him. In the cafeteria, exposing Darius. Risking your own reputation to clear mine. Everyone's been talking about it. It's all over social media. Tyler's face flushed. I couldn't let him keep lying about you. I know, Braden said, stopping right in front of Tyler. And I can't let you think I've moved on. That dinner with the Ashtons? I walked out halfway through. Told my father I didn't care about his money or his approval. Told him that the only person I wanted was you. What did he say? Tyler asked, hope blooming in his chest. He said I was making the biggest mistake of my life, Braden said with a sad smile. Then he cut me off. All of it. The trust fund, the tuition money, everything. But Tyler, I don't care. I'd rather have nothing with you than everything without you. Tyler felt tears streaming down his face. You did that for me. I love you, Braden said simply. I've loved you since the day you sent me that risky text. I loved you when we spent that first night together. I loved you when everyone found out about us. I loved you when you broke my heart. And I love you now. Nothing is going to change that. Not Darius, not my family, not anything. I'm sorry, Tyler sobbed. I'm so sorry I didn't trust you. I'm sorry I let Darius get in my head. I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry too, Braden said, setting the flowers down and pulling Tyler into his arms. I should have been more patient. I should have explained better. I should have fought harder for us. They stood there holding each other, both of them crying, both of them finally letting out all the pain and fear they had been carrying. When they finally pulled apart enough to look at each other, Braden cupped Tyler's face in his hands. I love you, Tyler Reed, Braden said. Will you give me another chance? Will you let me prove that we can make this work? Yes, Tyler said, kissing him. Yes, yes, yes. The kiss was soft at first, gentle and sweet, tasting of salt from their tears. But then it deepened, became more urgent, more desperate. All the longing from the past month poured into it. Braden's hands tangled in Tyler's hair. Tyler grabbed Braden's shirt, pulling him closer. They kissed like they were drowning, and each other was air. Come back to my dorm, Tyler whispered against Braden's lips. Please. They practically ran across campus, holding hands, laughing and crying at the same time. People stared, but neither of them cared. When they got to Tyler's room, Chris had conveniently disappeared, leaving them alone. The door closed behind them, and they fell into each other again. This time was different from their first night together. This time was slower, more meaningful. They undressed each other carefully, savoring every touch. When Braden laid Tyler down on the bed, there were tears in his eyes. I miss you so much, Braden said, kissing Tyler's neck, his chest, everywhere. Every single day. I missed you too, Tyler said, his hands exploring Braden's body like he was memorizing it. Don't ever leave me again. Never, Braden promised. You're stuck with me now. They made love slowly, whispering promises between kisses, holding each other like they were precious. When it was over, they lay tangled together, sweaty and exhausted and happier than either of them had been in weeks. What are you going to do about school? Tyler asked, running his fingers through Braden's hair. Without your father's money? I've already applied for financial aid and scholarships, Braden said, and the basketball team has some funding options for players. I'll figure it out. It might take me an extra year to graduate, but I don't care. As long as I have you, I can handle anything. We'll figure out together, Tyler said firmly. I'll get a job. We can share expenses. Whatever it takes. Braden kissed him softly. Have I mentioned how much I love you? Not in the last 5 minutes, Tyler teased. They spent the rest of the day in bed, talking and touching and planning their future. They talked about moving in together, about Tyler meeting Braden's mom, who apparently was on Tyler's side, about all the places they wanted to go and things they wanted to do. For the first time in a month, the future felt bright. That evening, they finally got dressed and went to the cafeteria together for dinner. The moment they walked in holding hands, the entire room started clapping. Tyler's face turned bright red, but Braden just grinned and waved. They sat with Braden's teammates, who welcomed Tyler like he was part of the family. Scott slapped Tyler on the back. Glad you two worked it out, Scott said. Braden was miserable without you. Thanks for helping him set up that whole classroom thing, Tyler said. That was all Scott said. He's been planning it since yesterday. Bought the flowers and everything. Tyler looked at Braden, who was blushing slightly. You're such a romantic. Only for you, Braden said, kissing his cheek. Over the next few weeks, things slowly returned to normal. Better than normal, actually. Braden moved out of his expensive dorm room and into Tyler's smaller one. They got part-time jobs at the campus bookstore, working the same shifts. Braden's basketball coach helped him secure a scholarship that covered his tuition. Tyler's brother Mason visited and gave his approval of Braden, which meant everything to Tyler. Darius was officially expelled from Crestwood College after the disciplinary hearing. He tried to appeal, but with all the evidence against him, there was nothing he could do. Tyler heard through the rumor mill that Darius had transferred to a school across the country. He didn't care. Darius was in the past, and Tyler's future was with Braden. 2 months after they got back together, Braden surprised Tyler with a key. What's this for? Tyler asked, confused. Our new apartment, Braden said excitedly. It's small and kind of old, but it's off campus and we can afford together. I already put down the deposit. What do you think? Tyler threw his arms around Braden's neck. I think it's perfect. They moved into their tiny studio apartment the following weekend. It had barely enough room for a bed, a small couch, and a kitchenette, but it was theirs. They spent their first night there painting the walls blue, eating pizza on the floor, and making love on their new mattress that they had bought secondhand. I could get used to this, Tyler said, lying in Braden's arms afterward, both of them covered in blue paint and completely happy. Good, Braden said, kissing the top of his head. Because I'm planning on keeping you forever. Forever sounds good to me, Tyler said. And he meant it. They had been through lies and betrayal, family drama and public humiliation, breakups and makeups. But they had come out stronger on the other side. Tyler had learned to trust, and Braden had learned to fight for what he loved. Together, they were unstoppable. 6 months later, Tyler was studying at their small dining table when Braden came home from basketball practice. Braden was grinning like he had a secret. What? Tyler asked suspiciously. My mom called, Braden said. She wants us to come for Thanksgiving. Both of us. She made my father apologize for everything. He's ready to meet you properly. Tyler's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Braden said. But more importantly, she sent us this. Braden pulled out an envelope and handed it to Tyler. Inside was a check with a lot of zeros. She's been saving it, Braden explained. Said it was supposed to be for my wedding someday, but she wants us to have it now. To help with school, to build our life together. Tyler stared at the check, overwhelmed. Braden, this is too much. She said your family now, Braden said softly. And family takes care of each other. Tyler put the check down and pulled Braden into a tight hug. I love you, Mom. She loves you too, Braden said. Almost as much as I do. They stood there in their tiny apartment, holding each other, knowing that no matter what challenges came next, they would face them together. Tyler thought back to that night months ago when he had sent that risky text, the text that had changed everything. He had been so scared, so sure that Braden would reject him. Hey, Braden, Tyler said. Yeah, I'm really glad I sent you that text. Braden pulled back to look at him, his eyes soft with love. I'm really glad you did too. Best decision you ever made. Second best, Tyler corrected. The best decision was trusting you and fighting for us. Braden kissed him, long and slow and full of promise. Outside their window, the campus lights twinkled in the evening darkness. Inside their little apartment, 2 boys who had found each other against all odds held tight, knowing they had found something worth keeping. Something real. Something forever. They had started with a risky text and survived lies, betrayal, and family drama. But they had come through it all with their love intact, stronger than ever. And as they stood there in their own little space, building their own little life, Tyler knew without a doubt that this was just the beginning. Their story wasn't perfect. It was messy and complicated and sometimes painful. But it was theirs, and that made it beautiful. Tyler leaned his head on Braden's shoulder and smiled. The whole school had been shocked when they first got together. They had been even more shocked when Tyler and Braden survived everything that tried to tear them apart. But the biggest shock of all? How perfectly they fit together. how completely they loved each other, and how absolutely certain they both were that this was forever. And forever, Tyler thought as Braden's arms tightened around him, was exactly what they deserved. If you love Tyler and Braden's story, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another romantic journey. Drop a comment below telling us where in the world you're watching from, and let us know what kind of love story you want to see next. Your support means everything to us.